Hi, everybody. Hope you are doing well today. Thank you so much for joining us on the Altenew Facebook and YouTube channels for today's live stream. And I'm in the United States, and we are celebrating Thanksgiving today. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you who are celebrating. And hello to everybody who is joining us today. So hello to Avril over in Ireland, and to Amy who's in Hawaii, and Melanie in Italy. And Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And behind the badge today is Roxanne. So if we could give a little love over to Roxanne, who's going to be helping us out and putting up some wonderful links and checking in to make sure that everybody is okay and everybody's doing great. So since today is Thanksgiving, I wanted to focus today on gratitude, and I would like to make some thank you cards. And we're going to be focusing today using the mixed media inks from Altenew and also the Craft Your Life Elegant Motifs. So those are our two sets that we're going to be focusing on. And hello, Naomi. How are you doing today? So it's so wonderful to be here with you. And I'm going to do my best on the sound thing, Avril. I'm going to try again. My cat broke my camera. So let me just give me 1 second. Let me just double check. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for going on. Echo cancellation, yep. I think that's all I can do. Let me try one more thing. Very garbled, okay. And... all right, Avril, could you tell me how that is? How's that doing? A little bit better? That's better now. Okay, thanks, Avril. Let me know if the, thank you guys for letting me know. If there's any technology things, of course, they're going to happen on a live stream. But yes, let me know if everything's going okay. I am going to let you know if you share this live stream over on your social media, then you will be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. And Roxanne will be kind of checking in with you guys, and she will pull that name after the live stream today. All right. So without much, I got a lot going on today, so I'm going to go ahead and get down. And like I said, today is Thanksgiving in the U.S., so we are going to be talking about thanks and gratitude. And I would love to know that if you made a thank you card, who would it be that you would want to send it to? Who's somebody in your life that you would want to give a lot of thanks and that you're grateful for today? Hi, John from Auckland. Thank you so much. Thank you, Christine, for sharing this. If you share this, you will be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. All right. Thanks, Dawn, for sharing it from Auckland. Sound is gone again. All right. Let's try this again. Thanks, Joanne. Oh, my Lord. All right. Let's try this again. Audio. Okay. All right. How is that, Joanne? Is that sound a little bit better? Oh, thanks, Christine. That's great. Your sister? Sound is great. Okay, great. All right. You guys let me know if there's any other issues, camera or anything at all. All right. Thank you, guys. No sound is okay for me. Is it great? Okay. Sound is great. Okay. Great. Okay. All right. If there's any other technological issues, let me know. So this is what I'm going to play with today. This is the most recent Craft Your Life kit. This is Elegant Motifs. Melly, thank you so much for sharing on Facebook. Naomi, thank you for sharing. Naomi, how is that audio? Is that a little bit better now? Is that audio a little bit better? And I'm hoping the visuals, you guys can see what I'm doing here. All right. And so I have the Elegant Motif Kit, and I wanted to play around with this, and I wanted to play with a couple of things today. I'm going to be bringing in the mixed media inks. The mixed media inks are something that I was like, I don't know if I really want to get these. And now that I've had them and I've played with them a little bit, I have really, really great. All right, Christine, how's the sound? Naomi, this is a great set. This is a super great set. All right. And so I wanted to show you guys what they come in. So this is a pink set. And then it's also, the first two that came out are kind of the pink and green. And then there is yellow, which is the sunshine. And then there is a blue. So there's 4 sets of inks that these have. Hi, Sue. How's your Thanksgiving, Sue? Joni, how's your Thanksgiving? Hi, Rika from South Africa. Thank you so much for joining us today. All right. How is that sound? All right. So let's get going today. Love the blue. Your sound is good here. All right. Thanks, Sue. I was just double checking. All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some things that I can do in order to get cards that I kind of am on this thing about trying to make more cards at one time. And so I have been taking a large piece of paper like this. Oh, just took Sue. I served at 1 o'clock. Well, I also had to get ready for this, but I served at 1 o'clock for my Thanksgiving. We had the best turkey. I don't know how the heck it came out. It was super great. I'm going to take this sheet of paper, and on the 8.5 side, excuse me, on the 11-inch side, I'm going to cut this in half to 5.5. And this gives me 2 half panels to play with. Now I'm going to take this panel and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the whole panel into my stamp positioner so it fits perfectly in there. The difference between this, so this is a mixed media ink, and it has properties of both pigment and dye ink where it dries very quickly, but it has this like ridiculously soft, like it's so easy to apply. Like, you know how when you work with a pigment ink, it goes on so super smooth. This is amazing, and I'll show you. I'll show you, Sonal, some differences between that. Oh yeah. All right, and just to let you know, if you end up sharing this today while we're on the live stream, you can be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. All right. I'm going to grab some of these flowers. Oh, thank you so much, Rika. Yeah, Joni, these are great. The pigments to pigment inks too. This kit from the Elegant Motifs kit comes with these beautiful open florals. And you could color these. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. And what's nice with all the Craft Your Life kits is they come with a coloring stencil. And we're going to play around with this with these inks. And I'm going to show you one way to also kind of step up your inking game. All right, so I'm going to grab a couple of these florals. Sorry about that sound of the ripping it off. It's so satisfying, though, when you're taking out new stamps, and that just comes right off. So I'm eventually going to cut this sheet down in half. But in order to kind of maximize the florals that I have, I'm going to take these large florals and I'm going to put them right smack dab in the middle. And I just want to build a little scene here. And this is going to allow me to kind of maximize what I'm doing. So I'm just grabbing a whole bunch. And this way I can make 2 cards at one time. There we go. Except that one's the other way. All right, here we go. For those of you who are doing Thanksgiving and making turkey today, what time did you get up and put your turkey in the oven? That's always a big thing around here. And let's see, do I want any more? I think I want to put, I'm going to throw this one. I'm going to move these over. That's what I'm going to do. I don't want another one on there. I just want these 3. Okay. All right, so I'm going to stamp these. Now I'm going to stamp these in limestone ink. Oh, Carol. Oh, I hope you're having a great Thanksgiving, Carol. You're cooking. I cooked all day. I started my turkey at 9 o'clock this morning. We only had a 16-pound turkey, but I did it. I have this like electric oven that I put it into. So it was really great. And we ate at 1 o'clock. That turkey is never done when you want it to be, though. Thank you for sharing, Carol. Oh, and Kathy, that's true. You are on the West Coast. West Coast, yes. On the East Coast, we usually try to serve at 1 o'clock. That's usually my time. So we're working, since today is Thanksgiving in the United States. I wanted to know who you are grateful for. If you were making a thank you card, who would be that person that you would want to send that thank you card to? So for me, it was my mom. She came over today. I was in the middle of trying to really messing up my pie, and she came over and really helped me with some expertise on my pie, which was really, really super great. And then, of course, to my husband, who just did all of the dishes, and that was really, really helpful. Very, very helpful. So I think you guys can see that. And Carol went in at 9 as well. Yep, absolutely. All right, so I like stamping this with the limestone ink because it gives me a little bit of definition, but it's not too dark. So we're going to end up with this like really, really soft color. So I'm actually going to take these and I'm going to use some blending brushes. Roxanne, I'm going to grab the mini ink blending tools. These guys. I love these guys. I got to tell you. I call them stubbies. They are great. I'm going to use these little guys. And yes, Sue, I'm grateful for my family. And Joni, you're eating at 4. That's good. I can still make it up there, right? Joni's only a couple of hours away from me, so. The Craft Your Life kit comes with these simple coloring stencils. And with the simple coloring stencil, how to line it up is inside of the packet, or what the project sheet that comes in with your packet. And it tells you which stencils will go with which flowers. So I picked, let's start on this big flower right over here. So I picked this super big flower. And so that's going to be coloring stencil 3. You got it, Joni. And coloring stencil 4. So we're going to use both of these. So I'm going to start with coloring stencil 3. So these are all numbered right on the edge. So I'm going to grab coloring stencil 3. And what I'm looking for is I want the open, like the big one back here. All right, so let's get this right here. And it just takes a little second to kind of figure this through and to line it up. And I think I am, nope, that's right. This always takes me a second. I know you guys are over there rooting me on right now. You can do it, Amy. You got that right. I almost got it. There we go. Why doesn't that look right? Give me a second, guys. I know I got it. All right, coloring stencils, getting there. So with the coloring stencil, what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be using the mixed media inks. I'm going to take this first one, and I think I'm going to make it yellow. So I'm going to take the lightest color, which is the buttercream. And once I eventually get this stencil into place, oh, guys, I think I had it. I got it. It's close. Ah. I don't know about this. Maybe I got the wrong one. And let's go to a different one, because that one seems to be a little bit funky. Sorry about that, everybody. Oh, I think I know why. I'm going to flip it. All right, we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. We are just going to use some masking tape. When in doubt, figure it out. This is kind of my cheapy way of getting this done fast. Okay, so what I love about this mixed media inks is how soft these go on. And I love using it with the limestone because with the limestone, you get this ridiculously soft look. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this buttercream. Now these go on so easy and they have such beautiful pigment. And I just wanted to show you with the limestone ink, this green just really, or this yellow just really, it's just so soft. All right, so that goes on like a dream. Now, if I were to use the dye inks, it takes a little bit of extra kind of oomph to get those suckers in. And you can just see how pretty that is. Thanks all. All right, thanks guys, I appreciate it. I don't know what's going on with this guy. It's kind of bugging me that it's not working. Oh, I think I got it. I figured it out. Yay. Yay, I did it. I did it. Yes. I did it. Wow. I did it, guys. You have to flip the stencil. Woohoo. Oh, amazing. Did it. All right. This other one over here, I think that's this one. Yes, we got it. We're cooking with gas now. We are doing great. All right, let's get a little bit more buttercream. And these just go on like a dream. And what I like about using it is you end up with these regions that are a little bit darker and a little bit softer. These other ones. So I'm going to grab some green. I'm going to do like a really soft green. So now I'm going to grab that frayed leaf. And I'm just going to go right in with that. And it's so easy. It's like ridiculously easy. And that's what I like about these inks is they put on this really gorgeous color in such a short piece of time. I don't know where this one's supposed to be. It looks like it goes there. All right, let's get that green back. Throw some green on there. That was close. Okay, and then these go right here. All right, let me grab that frayed leaf again. All right, and I'm just getting some color down here. Now, with these pigment inks as well, or with the mixed media inks, you can also paint with them. So I wanted to show you guys, you can actually watercolor with them. So I got a little bit of water. I have a brush. I got my palette somewhere hiding. And let me grab that frayed leaf. In fact, let me get some forest glades. And I'm just going to put this right down on my palette. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of this, grab some water, and I can just go in and I can actually paint with these. So that's where the versatility kind of comes in. It is beautiful with blending. You actually can use these mixed media inks to stamp on like things like cloth. Thank you so much, Rika. I couldn't believe it. Thanks, Christine. You were screaming, flip it. Yeah, I know. I just realized like the stencil that you use, it's for like most of the flowers. So you either have to flip it or using it on the one thing. I flipped it, but it was just getting a little bit tricky for me. That's all right. Perseverance. That's grit and perseverance, which sometimes we need in crafting. So I can take this ink and I can just put it right on here. And here we go. So right now, so we blended with that. You can see the beautiful color. Like I said, I love using the limestone because it ends up with this really super soft image. And I'd love to know if you have the mixed media inks out there, what do you think of them? Have you used them? Are they sitting around? Are they something that you're like, oh, that's in my bin that I want to be using? Are the mixed media inks, are these inks that you are planning on using, or is it like is it in your cart ready to purchase? What do you think about these so far? What's your thought on these mixed media inks? Or maybe you're like, I wasn't so super sure about what these were, et cetera, et cetera. So I can actually paint with this. I know I didn't do a super great job, but I just kind of filling in some color. All right, so I wanted to show you guys. I'm gonna brave it, and I'm gonna go back to the stencil. Oh boy, here we go, stencil 3. All right, so stencil 3 also has on here some detail areas. So we have this section that's a little bit of, oh, Christine, you've done fabric work with them. I haven't done that yet. That's something I really, really want to do with these, and I just haven't yet. This is our detail layer. So I'm going to grab this, and as best I can, I'm going to line this up. And I think I got it now. All right. Yay, I got it. Okay. So I'm going to, I want to step this up a little bit. And instead of adding a second color, I'm actually going to use some embossing paste. And embossing paste is something that really can give it a little bit of a more definition. It just is a little bit of something that's extra that's on your card. And Altenew has, I have to say, out of embossing paste that I've used, this one is, it's like meringue. It's so thin, and it's it brushes, it goes on beautifully, and it's not super duper heavy. Like the embossing paste that I've used in the past have been so heavy, it's almost like I got cement on my card. But in using this, it's not like that. So I'm going to bring my palette back out again. And I want to grab some darker, I'm going to grab this Warm Sunshine. And I'm putting a bunch on here. And I think I'm going to grab a little bit of Caramel Toffee. And I'm going to stick that on here as well. Now I'm going to grab some embossing paste, and you can just see, it just looks like whipped butter. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Tam, for sharing this. If you share this to your social media, this live stream, you can be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. And today we are playing around with the mixed media inks, if you're just joining us, and the Craft Your Life Elegant Motif set. And so what I have done so far is I have stamped some flowers onto a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 inch paper, because I'm going to cut this down to 2 cards. All right, so I have some nice embossing paste. You can see that it's yellow. It's a little orangey. I could also add in, sorry, Roxanne, I didn't put this in, last minute edition. And please say hello to Roxanne, who is doing our live stream. This is iridescent spray. It just gives it a little bit of shimmer. And I can add this in as well. And now I'm going to have kind of the shimmery embossing paste. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. All right, so now I got this embossing paste. Okay, so now I'm going to line up my stencil. And then I'm just going to smear this right on. And I'll show you what this looks like when we're done. Now you do have to kind of let this like dry. And I am pretty good about, like, once I'm done, I make sure that I clean everything off. But I really haven't had a super big problem with this embossing paste and getting it where it needs to go. But it's just so light. It really is. It's not even like frosting. It's like thicker than this stuff. And I just like it because it gives a little bit of different texture. Oh, that was bad. Different texture on your card. Here we go. What? It just gives this really cool dimension and texture on your card. It's really, really cool. All right, I'm going to wipe this off, and I'm going to go to the other side. And I'm going to do that in the same. Oh, it's going to be bad. Okay, so I can't put this on top of this right now because then I'm going to mess this up. So I'm going to set this aside to dry. But this is, you can just see that beautiful texture that gives, and it's so creamy. I'm gonna let this dry, and I want to move on to I'll move on to coloring these other two, just so you guys can see it, and so I can mess up with stencils even more. All right, so let's take a look. So this is this flower. And so this is this flower. So this is also number 3. All right, this is all cleaned off. I'm going to see if I can do this without messing up my guy. I'm having a wicked trouble with these stencils today. Aha! Got it on the first try. Look at that. Maybe not. I had it. All right, we're going to move on. I think I'm halfway through anyway. Yeah. I'm going to move on a little bit. I'm going to let this dry because I'm afraid I'm going to mess that up. But we'll come back to this in a second. So I wanted to talk a little bit more with the mixed media inks. And with the Craft Your Life kit, it also comes with this really cool embossing folder. Thanks, Naomi. This embossing folder, it is a slimline, which is really cool. Now, you could cut this up into sections. I'm going to play around with it as a slimline. And I wanted to talk to you about how I actually get my paper for my slimline, like what I do in terms of the math. And I had a whole sheet somewhere. Here it is. So I grab a piece of 8.5 by 11. And I take the side that's 11. And I just cut this up into 3.5-inch strips. Now, easiest thing you can do is if you just cut a 1/2 inch off, the rest of it should go right away into, it will be evenly divided. But I'm just going to go ahead and cut this into 3.5-inch strips. And that's going to give me 3. So that's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. And usually what I'll even do with a whole piece of paper is I will actually cut a 1/2 inch off. And I don't know if anyone else has any kind of like super secret tricks about how to do this or how to do it pretty quickly. Is I just cut a 1/2 inch off. Put that to the side. And then I'm going to cut 3.5 inches. And then with my leftover piece, I can score it. And this now becomes my card base. So if I score it at 3.5 inches, and that way from one piece of paper, I can get an entire panel. That should be right. There we go, right there. So from one panel of paper, one piece of paper, I can get an entire card and card base. So I don't have to purchase anything extra. Nothing's like super extra. It's all one card. And then when I finally put this on, so there's my slimline card base. Then I just have my card front that I can put right on top of it. All right, so let's play around with this embossing folder. Now, I'm playing around with the mixed media inks, and one of the things that I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and emboss this entirely just inside of this. Just put that sucker right in. And I'm going to run this through my machine. Now, I always, because of the fact that I never, ever remember exactly what my thing is, I think it's just this. I usually have my booklet around. I always keep my Gemini booklet around, but I think it's just this. I think for Gemini, it's just these two, just the top plate and the bottom plate. It might just be this in the, I feel like it's the other thing. All right, let me run this through. I run that through one more time. Very warpy plates. All right. All right, running that through my machine. The other thing that we can do with this is we can actually take the mixed media inks and we can run those through as well and color them in. There we go. All right, I think. All right. My Gemini is having a little bit of difficulty holding on to this. So I'm going to try one more thing. Can't find the booklet. I'm going to try one more thing. Having a little bit of difficulty kind of moving these through. But let me just try one more thing. Tip number 3. Nope, still didn't work. All right, we're going to skip that part. So I'm getting a little bit of an impression, but not a super great impression. But what I can do with this is these mixed media inks blend so super well over this. So let me just go ahead and I'll grab that frayed leaf. And if I'm going gently over these raised parts, you can just see how that impression just starts to kind of really come through. And this is kind of my fastest and quickest, easiest way to get some ink down with an embossing folder. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a little bit of coral berry up at this top. Here it is. And I tend to sometimes be a little heavy-handed with inks, but I like the mixed media inks because they go on very, very soft. And so they kind of blur that piece out. So I don't have too much of an issue with it. All right, let me just get this ink off of here. Okay, I'm just going to do this one in yellow. Okay, and then the last one I'm going to do in the blue. Let me grab some Caribbean sky. And these have such nice bright colors and they really kind of come down here. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink these up. And my last flower didn't come out so super great, but that's okay. I can also run this through and re-emboss it. If I could locate my book. I don't know where it is. All right, so how are we doing out there? Curious, as mixed media inks, are these inks that you're kind of want or interested in, or are they inks that you have or you'd like to try them? They're really pretty. And I absolutely love these colors. They're really, really super great to have. I'm going to throw in this all about, thanks, Christy. I'm going to throw in all of this all about thanks word die set because like I said, for today in the United States, we're celebrating Thanksgiving. And so this is one that is great. So I wanted to do sending thanks for this one. And what I love about this set is it has the shadow and it has this really delicate, it has this really, really super delicate sentiment itself that's in cursive. So if I take this off, I'm actually just going to grab the thanks today and I'm going to do the sending as well. And put both of these in. And what I love is I love doing these in some sort of like glitter paper. So I'm going to grab my glitter paper. And this is the gilded cardstock set. And I'm just going to grab a piece out of here. It's a little too bright. I think this one is the brushed gold. I think that's brushed gold. You can just see how bright that is, how pretty. And I'm going to take this and I'm just going to go ahead and cut these out right on here. And this thanks is just so super nice and big. So I'm going to run that through my machine again. This time I need a different mat. Here we go. All right. Okay. And run this through again. All right, now before I do that, found my book. Plastic shim, magnetic shim. That's what I was missing. All right, I'm going to redo this just to kind of give it a little bit more depth because this is bothering me, but it did not come out so super great. There we go. All right, plastic plate, magnetic shim. All right, bear with me. I'm going to do one more time. While I'm doing this, we're going to cut those. We're just going to take those little pieces out, and then we're going to get them right onto our There's our detail. Thank you very much. All right, so this is so pretty with this paper. Let me just pop these out here. And then what's great is I can just take this. I'm going to chop off about 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to grab this and I'm going to add it right to that card base that we made from that one piece of card stock. So remember, we already made that card front. So here's our card. We've already made that card front. So it's all ready to go. So I can tack this down. Right on the front. And then I'm going to grab my thanks and add that right on. And here is my sending. I'm just going to pop that right out of that gold paper. And I love this it's just beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful, this metallic paper that they have. This glitter paper. It's just absolutely beautiful. And so you can see how it just sets off right on there. Yeah, Sue, these inks, I gotta say, I'm not somebody who just goes and even though I love Altenew stuff, I still kind of like wait and I'm like, is this something that I'm going to use? And as soon as I got them, I'm like, wow, this stuff is amazing. So the S on this is separate and it's actually still in my piece here. So I'm just going to pop that S out. And so here we go. So here's our first thank you card. So it's going to be right out here. So I have to push this off. And there's our sending thanks. And so it just gives that really, really pretty look. All right. I'm going to do one more thing with this embossing folder with you guys. And what I like with these inks is you have the ability to ink up the actual folder. And so that's what we're going to do next. Now, when I ink up the folders, I can do one of two things. If you ink up the emboss side, this is the best thing to do here is if you want the outside. If you want kind of the color to go into what it is, like if you want it to go into the flower, we're going to ink up this side. So I'm going to actually ink up this side just to show you guys what I'm talking about. So I'm going to grab the pink here. And then I'm going to grab some blue. And these are so super creamy and so super pigmented that I find, and I want to get a lot of ink on here. I find that they are really, really easy to go on. Things like this. Like when I do this with dye ink, it gets a little bit splotchy, and it just isn't quite exactly what I'm looking for. And so this puts on quite a bit of ink into this. Now I'm doing I'm doing the other side. So I just wanted to point that out, that it's not the side you think. I'm doing that other side. So I'm going to get yellow in the middle here. And so this is going to lay ink into it. And I'll show you what I mean when we get this done. Okay. All right. Do you guys like, are you somebody who likes to take your hold on one second. Okay, so I'm going to grab this and I'm just going to lay it down. Now, once you lay it down, and you got to go quick. Okay, so now that ink is in there, I'm going to have it be pressed up into it. So it's going to get into those nooks and crannies. And you can do it on the other side, and it's kind of fun to play with what these look like. Oh, that came out a little cool. So you can see with this pink flower, it gets right up in there. Yeah, Sue, I love it. And it gets right up in there. And so I did it this way because I wanted the ink to kind of settle into all of the grooves instead of it being on top of the grooves like we did on the other one. So this is settling right on into the grooves. And if I want to add more ink, I can go ahead and I can add a little bit more, and it's going to settle right into those places. And so just to show you the difference between the two, so we have that deboss side, and then on the embossing, we did it on this side. So it's just kind of on the other way. But I like both looks, and it just gives you a little bit of a different look that you can do. But both of those looks would be the same for that one. So it's just this is really getting into those nooks and crannies of that. But you can see how easy those go on, and I really love it. All right, so I'm gonna so we just talked about mixed media inks with playing around with the embossing folders, and I want to go back to taking a look at mixed media inks playing around with the stencils. And thank you, Jennifer and Joanne, for sharing this. If you we have about 15 minutes left in our live, so if you take a moment and share this live for on your social media and let us know, you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card to the Altenew store, and you can pick up some mixed media inks or even the Craft Your Life kit as well. All right, so this is still a little bit wet, so I'm going to be super careful. I'm going to move down over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to ink up this stencil without messing up that section up and over there. And this one, I think I'm going to make pink. So I'm not going to make that pink, though. I want frosty pink. And I love the colors that they've chosen, and I hope to heck that they come out with some other colors. That would be super great, because I'm really, really enjoying using these inks and kind of looking at different ways to have this pigment. All right, so I'm going to color these flowers over here well, and just kind of get that down. And this is the green one. Now, for those of you who are just joining us, what I did initially was I took limestone ink on this panel, and this panel is 5.5 by 8.5. And my plan is that I'm going to cut this down, and this is going to be 2 card fronts. So I'm going to get 2 card fronts out of this. And this is kind of what I have been doing with my cards is I have been making 2, or I've been making 1 panel, and then I just cut it in half, and then I end up with 2. The ink, the embossing paste that I have up here, we're going to be ending up doing that on all of these, but it just takes a little bit of time to dry. So I'm kind of, because I got 15 minutes left, I'm kind of moving my stencils around a little bit. How do I know that I'm using these stencils is I'm using the layering guide that's inside of the product guide. And I'm just kind of putting this up. All right, so this is stencil 2. And this is stencil 2. All right. And this layering guide, the stencils come with both a detail layer and a base layer. And what I've done is I have put I've stamped this in limestone, and then I'm just adding on a base layer from using the mixed media inks. All right, guys, here we go. New one. I can do this. Had a little trouble with that stencil the first time. All right, hey, good. Hey, I'm getting better, guys. I'm getting better with the stencils. Here we go. Not bad. And these stencils really allow you to put some color down really, really super quickly. All right, and I love it with that limestone because it's just, the limestone allows you to have this really kind of soft look to it. All right, let me get that frayed leaf. This was the Arctic color. I love the blues that they chose to put in here. Absolutely love them. And I'm just going to get a little bit more down here. So this is the frayed leaf, and I'm trying not to mess up my embossing paste that's on here. And I just need these 2. All right. So like I said, with this, I'm going to cut this in half and then add my sentiment over. But with that embossing paste, thank you so much. Oh, Rhonda, thank you for adding us over to Twitter. And hey, Serena, thank you so much. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We're also talking about gratitude, and we're making some thank you cards. And who would be the person that you would want to send that thank you card to? And you can see this embossing paste. It just gives it this really nice kind of detail and just gives it a little bit of a 3D piece of it as well. So let me very quickly add some embossing paste as best I can over to these 2. So I know I'm on layer 2, so I'm going to grab that again. Or sorry, stencil 2. So let me grab stencil 2. I just had it in my little hand. Here we go. So this is stencil 2. So I'm going to take some embossing paste that I have. And this embossing paste, again, so super creamy. And it is absolutely delicious. It's kind of like working with a meringue. And it's not really like working with like a frosting. It's really a lot lighter than that. And I just want to say that's been on my thing for about 30 minutes. And it's still coming off relatively quickly off of my palette knife. And I have to say, I have this kind of cheap palette knife, but the Altenew has some absolutely lovely palette knives that might be in my cart for Black Friday. So it definitely should be easy to clean up. It's really not super big of a big deal. And look, it's coming right off of them. It's dried a little bit, but not too much off of my palette. And these palettes are super great. These are the Altenew palettes. I absolutely love working on them. They protect my surface, and they're just really easy to clean up. I just give this a quick rinse right under there. All right, I'm going to do this blue one. So I'm going to grab some. Ooh, let me grab this Persian blue. I'm going to grab this Persian blue and put that right on my pad. And because I'm adding white to it, it's going to take the color and it's going to make it a little bit lighter. And so I want to try to use a dark color. And I can keep adding pigment in, but I'm just going to kind of mix this around and get this to be blue. Now I could use this as white, which would be really super pretty, but I love adding color to it. And I love kind of making my own colors. Like if I wanted to make this a little bit more green, I could add some of that frayed leaf in. And the mixed media inks, I find, because they're just so creamy, as well, they work really well with this embossing paste. All right, so you can see that. Oh, it's beautiful soft blue. So even though I've patted that Persian blue, because of the fact that I'm adding that white to it, it's just going to get it to be a little bit darker. All right, so I'm going to use the stencil, and I'm just going to go right in with this stencil. I'm trying not to mush up what I already have down. You can use your dryer tool as well if you want to get it to be dried fast. It just has a tendency, it can potentially crack on you. So I like to let it air dry and kind of just let it do its own thing. All right. And you can see when I lift this up just how beautiful that is. It just adds this beautiful dimensional layer. It's so super nice. All right, so now I'm going to grab this third one right here. And that is bringing us back to stencil number 3, I believe. Yep, that's stencil number 3. But stencil 3, I'm having a hard time with stencil 3 today. Oh, this is going to be a mess. I may not do stencil 3, guys, because if I do stencil 3, I might mess up my blue one. Oh, nope, I think I can do it. For you guys, I think I can do it today. I'm going to do the pink. All right, so I'm going to want to save a little bit of this. So I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to grab another palette, just a different one. This is just a stamping, it's just a blending mat. And I want to use, let me grab some ruby red. And I also need a bigger place to work. All right, so I'm going to grab some of that ruby red, just pop it right down on here. And I want to get a lot of color to make it nice and dark. And in fact, I'll even add a little bit of grapevine. And then I'm just going to grab my ink and I'm just going to mix it up. And if I wanted to, I can add a little bit of yellow. In fact, I think I'm going to add a little bit of buttercream. Just to show you, just wanted to make it a little bit different, a little bit orangey. So literally like mixing these up like you're doing, watercoloring. I can add colors and get my own color. And I want that to be a little bit more orangey. Let me grab some of this warm sunshine. And I'm just going to add this up. And so this is going to give it a little bit more of a yellowy, orangey tone. Don't be afraid to mix those color families, people. Don't be afraid. It's okay. So you can see this ends up being a little bit more of an orange to it. So pretty. Yeah, thanks, Christine. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I was teaching class the other day. Joni and Sue Joni's still on here. I had like ink all over my hands. And of course it stays there for a couple of days. It's like a badge of honor, you know? All right, so now I'm going to do my best to do this flower without messing up my blue. Here we go. Oh, it's so close. All right, here we go. I'm just going to put this down. And I have to say what I like about this Craft Your Life kit versus the other ones is the fact that you can do, these are open flowers, so you don't have, there's a little bit of a layer if you want to add it into the stamping, but you really don't have to if you don't want to. And you can color them in, and I kind of love that about it. All right, so here's all my flowers. I could still add some layers to those, but I'm not going to. And so you end up with these things. So, oh yeah, Linda, so Linda, what we're doing is we're playing around today with the mixed media inks. And I am showing you guys using the Craft Your Life Elegant Motif set. I stamped these in limestone ink just to get some sort of softness to it. And then this is on a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of cardstock. And what I will do once this is dry, I'm going to cut this in half. And now I have 2 panels. And so both of these panels I can then make 2 cards with instead of just kind of doing all this work for only just 1 card. So I stamp them, and then I use the coloring stencils in order to lay a very light layer of color down. I even did a little bit of watercoloring with the mixed media inks, and then I used my embossing paste in order to end up with a little bit of a different layer, and it just adds this beautiful texture. And I want to point out, this is just 80-pound cardstock, and this is not heavy. This stuff is not heavy. It's so nice. And the other thing that we did with the inks today is we worked with the embossing folders. And so here I inked up the embossing folder. Sorry, I inked up the image that was embossed. And here I inked up the deboss side. And I was got some color into the 3 floral images here. And that's what we're doing. So I'm going to come on up because we are right at 4:30. And any other questions? And just a huge thank you to all of you today. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to come up, and I think I have to change my audio. That everybody, is that okay? So Christine, thank you I just wanted to say thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to those of you in the United States who are celebrating today. And I feel really super grateful for you being here and joining us today. And I hope that you learned a little bit, got some inspiration. And yes, thank you, Sue. I did already have Thanksgiving. It was absolutely lovely. I'm waiting for some apple pie. I baked my apple pie while I was down here. So I will be ready for some pie and some ice cream. Apple is definitely my favorite. So, and I make it myself from scratch, including the crust. So, but just kind of playing around with some embossing paste. And this will then, of course, it's going to be cut once all of that is dry. But I love that embossing paste and those coloring stencils. It just adds a little bit of an extra kind of special touch. And when I send these thank you cards out, I'm going to be sending them out to people that I'm just really, really grateful for. And I'm grateful for you. And I'm really thankful that you were able to join me today. And I hope that you have an absolutely, absolutely lovely day. So thank you all so much. Have a great day. And thank you for joining us on this live stream.